Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez.
And me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day. We are back. Best hour of their day. We are at the 2023 CrossFit Games with the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel Chaffey, my sidekick, Jason Ackerman.
Sorry.
Dude, I've been wanting to talk to you. We've talked many times, and I love chatting with you, but I've been wanting to get you on the podcast forever.
You've stood me up more often than you've talked to me.
I don't know that that's accurate.
Yeah, I felt like your ex-girlfriend, man.
Yeah. She's still happy. Anyway.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. Before we kick off, still have the promotion going on. The knowledge dropped yesterday as far as opening up the knowledge. Sign up.
Wait.
This is promotion for everybody that's listening. Everybody's listening.
Because this is weeks later now.
No, but it doesn't matter, right? You can still
but you were
sign up
about
for
to
the
say
knowledge.
the 500.
You can still sign up for the knowledge. That's for everybody that's here, right?
Okay.
Everybody
so
will
you're
watch
speaking
this
to the 4
after
people
the fact.
watching. Sorry.
There's 45 people out here. You're making us sound bad now.
47, my mom and my sister.
Insert that in the post in editing.
Yeah, and then still run the promotion for paying for next credential for sign up for Affiliate U.
Again,
anyway.
If you watch this live.
Have you guys finished your publicity? It's like watching TV in the States, man.
And we're done.
Everything's an ad. What's going on?
And we're done. Yeah, it's a commercial.
That's it. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you're not from the States.
Absolutely not, sir.
You couldn't tell.
Where are you
from?
from?
Jersey.
Born in London. Born and raised in London. I lived in Colorado for 2 years.
Did you?
Yeah. Up in Breckenridge when it was nice.
Were you a skier?
I am indeed. Yeah. A man of many talents. Yeah. 2.
That qualifies as many.
CrossFit is not one of them.
Qualifies as many. But no, we want to bring him on. Owner of CrossFit Louvre. You have 3 locations, right?
That's right.
Yeah, 3 locations. And I'm not going out on a limb here. I want to give credit where credit is due. I think you're probably one of the more underrated affiliate owners on planet Earth. Like, I don't think people fully understand the scope of what you guys do at Louvre, which is why we wanted to come in and talk about your origin story, how you got into CrossFit, how you started those affiliates. Because from a CrossFit box standpoint, they're large scale.
In terms of members and operations, we've managed to scale. Footprint's not so big, right?
But that's what I think is the interesting part about that. So, for instance, like when we're talking about scale, we're talking about how many members.
Yep.
Thousands. Millions.
Yeah, but that gets scary, and you think like, oh my God, you open a box and you get you get thousands of members. You don't. You get one at a time, right? So that needs to be the context, is that you grow one at a time. And then if you have strategies for prospecting, selling, integrating new members and giving service, then you retain more than you lose, and over time you develop a robust and sustainable box. So we have in Louvre 1, which is it's about 5,000 square feet, so 500 square meters. We have 1,400 members, just over. We don't do teens and kids in that box because we have another box in Paris where we do. And so that's the busiest box. We operate from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and we do that 7 days a week. We're closed on Christmas Day, and we're closed on the 1st of May. Other than that, we're open.
Why? What's the 1st of May in France?
It's quite funny. It's called the Day of Work. It's like Labor Day. And so
you close on the day?
That's right. For the day of work, no one works in France. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's the same thing in Labor Day.
We're celebrating work. Let's all go to the beach.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but and that is precisely the reason why I wanted to talk to you, because what you just outlined, nobody thinks that's even possible. You've been doing it, and you're doing it at a very high level, and because you've built in systems. But more importantly, and I've not been there, I want to go there, but I've talked to many people that you and I have talked to. But you're still doing this on a very personal level, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. So it's like you need to have teams that. What do you want when you're in a 150-man box or 150 people box? Is you want to be welcomed by someone who knows your name and knows something about you. You got some sort of rapport, right? You want to have some sort of service before you go in. You want to meet members that are going in the same session as you. You want to be welcomed by the coach who knows your name, and he knows already, like he's got an idea of what the scaling options will be for you, right? He knows if you've been in, if you haven't been in, and so on and so forth. So, and then the coaching, whether people say, I don't want to coach more than 10 people. I think that's bullshit. honestly.
We're on the same team. On the same team.
Okay, I mean, if you can coach 10 people 5 years ago and you're a better coach today, well, then you should be able to coach more people. And if your members have developed and evolved as well through time, then you should be able to coach more people because
they don't need as much.
Yeah,
That's exact analogy as Hincho was making with aerobic capacity.
Right.
If you could do this in 20, cool. Now go 20.
That's right.
Same thing.
And
it's all threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to do that on a large scale, you need to make sure that all your coaches are able to do that. And so to do that, you have to focus on coaching your coaches.
Okay, let's take a way big step back. Do you mind?
Well, I did want to. That's where I wanted to start.
You want people to buy in.
Yeah,
we got the buy-in. Like this guy's interesting.
We got the hook.
1,000 members, 1,000,000 members.
No, we got
closed on May 1st.
Three boxes. 1,400 number one. Number two is down in Bordeaux, which has 940 members, and we have about 130 kids and teens.
Okay.
So the good
over 1,000 people.
That's included. Okay. So
over
that's not
1,000.
included.
Yeah, it's not included. And then we have Louvre 3, which opened just before the pandemic, and so like we were closed for 11 months. So great business decision, especially with the rents we're paying in Paris. There we have 740 members and growing.
So that's the weak one.
And that box,
I mean, it's only 740.
It's the weak one.
Do you sure you want to have him on only 740?
And it's the smallest one as well. It's only like 450 square meters, so that's like 4,500 square feet.
Still,
and we have two workout spaces.
You could have more than 700 members.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So those are the three.
Well, your smallest one is at a number where most people can't even fathom. I want to lead with that, right? Like most people, like 740 members. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, the reason that I would share the numbers isn't because I want the numbers to be impressive. That's not the point. Success is different for every person. It's dependent on what you need, right? So some people will be successful at 150 members, and that's fine if it's good for them.
No, I agree with you.
But the numbers are a reference point. It's to say, if you need more is possible, right? We agree on that. Right?
That's the whole. I don't bring it up so that we could be like, whoa. I bring it up because I want to shed light on that is possible if you wanted to do it.
That's
obviously, location has a lot to do with it. You're not going to do that in rural West Virginia, probably not. But the point is like it is possible, and I think a lot of people don't think it's possible due to their own self-limitations or limitations within their team. And you're doing it, and all it takes is one. Right, like nobody thought you could do a sub 4 minute Fran until somebody did it,
or the 4 minute mile, and then in the next year.
That's the whole. That's the whole point.
Well, that's the point of sharing best practice, right?
Correct.
And this myth of, oh my goodness, you can't share your secrets, or you can't share. That's absolute. Can
bullshit.
I say? It's
bullshit.
I was about to say,
it's
BS and people, but it is absolute bullshit because, like in France, we have. So when I opened the first box, we were box number 4 in France. Right?
Okay.
We now have 880 boxes in France. I have a box at 150 meters down the road that way, and I have another box that's 400 meters down the road that way, and I've never had more members. Why? Because my potential members are not those that are already doing CrossFit. My potential members are
Everybody
the millions of people that have never set their foot into into a
fucking box. Yeah.
Into a box in their lives, right?
Something like if every affiliate currently had 200 members, there'd still be billions of people.
You still wouldn't know what to do with all the people that weren't training.
But you need to know how to package. The methodology is there, but you need to know how to package and present it, and you need to a bigger set. Most boxes are in a subset of the community, right?
Correct.
24-year-olds, because 20-year-olds can't really afford it. Then maybe 24, they come out of college, first job,
right.
that kind of stuff. To 36-year-olds. After 36, you're going to get married or whatever it is. You may have kids, or your job may become so important that you're fucked. You'll put on weight, then you'll develop some sort of disease, and then you die, right? That's it. And that's basically what most people say.
I'm in the middle of it.
The dad bod thing.
Towards the end of it, yeah.
It's like but so we need to learn how to package it to the teens. We need to know how to package it and give an offering to those that are in uni. We need to know how to package it to the 42-year-old mum who's birth to 2 kids and hasn't looked after herself for 10 years. We need to know how to package it to the over 55s and the 65-year-olds and that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And that's where your service comes in.
So that's what I want to get to. So if anybody's like, why should we listen to this podcast? I think you should be bought in at this point. So, well, I'll let you pick. You were going to get into that origin story.
Let's go origin story. How old are you these days?
These days right now, I used to be 49.
Yeah.
So these days right now,
until he's not 49. He's 49.
Yeah, it's the 50. I'm sniffing the 50. Right?
You're closing in. Me too. When did you find CrossFit?
I was living in Spain, and this is going back. I moved to Spain in 2006 to operate a global business.
Because you were involved in
there's a company called Fitness First, amazing company. They looked after me, great people, great leadership, great development programs, but the service sucks. It was the emperor's new clothes, right? You know, the old adage, right?
Yep.
But I thought that was fitness, right? And so I'm working in this global business, and I'm traveling to different clubs every single day, and I'm doing board meetings and all this kind of stuff. So planes, trains, automobiles, ship food.
Young at that time.
Yeah, but I was working out 5 times a week, and I was putting on weight. Just had a kid. I'm like, I'm getting a bit porky. What's going on? You know, back pains coming in. It's like hamstrings. Like not sleeping so much, stress. I'm like, but I'm working out every day. And I'm trying to look after me. It's like something's got to give. So I go on the internet, high intensity. Was it PX90? You know.
Yeah.
Burpee. Sweat in the living room. My ex-wife was getting pissed off. I was bored. I was like, screw that.
Which ex-wife, by the way?
Only one. There's only one. The mother of my son, an amazing woman. Because she's probably going to watch. Exactly. She is an amazing woman. And we still work together. She runs the box in Boulder. She's fantastic.
Okay. Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Without her, I couldn't be successful. And that's the honest truth. And so I'm the looks, and she's the.
What exactly would you say?
Burned my house that one away. So and so I try all that stuff, and then I like turn to page 2, and there's this CrossFit thing. You click on CrossFit. This dog-eared website. This white.
Remember the yellow
scrolling down.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's page 2? There's no page 2. You just scroll down.
It's when you find out about infinite scroll. You're just it just keeps going.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I'll give this a try. And I did a workout. I was like, man,
remember?
That was like beasting me horrible.
What was it?
It was Fran.
Oh, you did Fran day one.
Nice. And it took me like 17 minutes because I didn't know that a kipping pull-up existed.
Oh, no.
So I did everything strict. And I'd never done that. So I think I must have had rhabdo for like a week. I didn't know what rhabdo was because I hadn't been on my L1. And I go, fuck, this shit's amazing, you know? And
I'm injured for life.
Yeah. I'm like, and I was like, I gotta. So I just did more and more workouts. And
this is in Spain.
Yeah, so I'm in. This is Spain, and problem in Spain is you eat late, tapas, beers,
right? Yeah.
And the stress, and I'm like, okay. So we then moved to France because the company was amazing. So you can live anywhere in Europe because I was running more than one country at the time. You can move anywhere in Europe as long as there's an airport. So we moved back to where she comes from, where Sophie comes from, which is Bordeaux, and so I'm training in the garden at that time. And I'm like, man, what's this level 1 thing? So like, click on this.
Were they even coming to France?
No. So I click on level 1. I look at all the places like US.
Yeah.
Oh, this is in the US, and then it's like London. Oh, smokes!
What year is this?
2010.
Okay. Yeah,
so you've been doing CrossFit for a while at this point.
Yeah, a couple of years. But it's like I was looking at the scores and I'm going, these guys, they're not doing the same workout as me. There's no way. These guys are finishing it. I'm doing TNFs.
They're doing it half.
There's no way. We're not doing the same weights. There's no way these guys are doing the distances.
You're still at Fitness First at the time?
Yeah. So I go on the level 1 and I'm like, wow. I thought I'd been in the fitness industry since I was 16. So I'd been in the industry for like 20 odd years by now, right? Or a bit more than that now. And I'm like, I didn't even know what it was. It's like, sit there and they go, hey, here's a definition of fitness. I go, shit. I never actually thought that it should be defined until you realize that it's actually really important, right?
I feel like a lot of people, I had that same realization, like the What is Fitness lecture. I was like, oh, I don't understand anything.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't understand anything, right? And I want to learn more.
Right.
And who's there? This is probably like Stedman, Haydock.
Exactly. So Stedman is Flowmaster, right? So he's this cool dude, ex-service, couple of tats, sits on a box, rolls up, perches his ass on a corner of a box like the Flowmasters do, right?
Yeah.
Sporting the red shirt. Yeah. Hey guys, my name's Carl. I'm the Flowmaster. Let me introduce you to the crew.
This is a perfect impression.
Yeah. So over there we got Steve Haydock and Stu Hill.
That's good too.
That's also good.
And there was Joe Alexander had flown over.
Oh, yeah.
And then over there we got Joe Alexander. Joe's there smiling. You know he's got his Mel Gibson beard now.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So it's before the Mel Gibson look like time. Yeah, babyface time. He's there smiling.
2010.
Oh, this is so cool. There's a guy from the US. Oh my god. You know, like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. And then interns was Simon Jones, who's around here somewhere.
Yeah, I just saw him earlier.
So it was Simon Jones when he wasn't drinking enough of the Kool-Aid yet. You know, he was a bit rotund.
Yeah.
Now he's like lost 10 years. You know what I mean? He's like, he's looking good now. Simon. So Simon and Drake Sladsky was interning. They were the black shirts, right?
Yep.
Now
at the time, yeah.
And Steve Haydock was an absolute fuck.
He still is.
He's still that way.
So every breakout group He goes, right, let's pick someone for the squat. Daniel, come in the middle. So as you can see, he's got an immature squat. He's got something quirky going on with his left hand. He goes, my left ankle, what's wrong with my left? So he was pulling me out on every single.
I can picture all of this.
And then we get to so he goes, oh, you can go back now. And then he goes, okay, so I'm going to show you the squat clean. Who wants? I go, fuck it, yeah, I'll go. I was volunteering, to be put in like squid.
That's amazing.
So that was the level, and at the social, right? So those that haven't done the level 1, it is you can have coached or been in the fitness for a very long time, and you'll have done a lot of other stuff. But you go on the level 1, and it is the kernel. It is the source of truth. It is from there that a load of other stuff has been reproduced. But that is the source, right? And I'm not saying that to sell it. I'm saying it because I friggin' believe it. It changed my life. And on the Saturday, I'm sitting there going, this is the best investment I've ever made. This is the best journey. I'm so glad I jumped on the plane. I convinced my wife to use the money to come to this thing. And then Carl Steadman walks up and he goes, you want a beer? And I go, yeah, I'd love one. Pops it open, hands it up, and he goes, sir, tell me, Daniel, where are you training? I go, I'm not training in any box, my garden. It's a bit stupid. Why aren't you in a box, mate? I'm like, well, Carl, it's because there are no boxes where I'm from. He goes, then why don't you fucking open one? And then he walks away. And I'm sitting there with my a Heineken in my hand. I'm like, fuck.
We gotta get Carl back on.
And I get my phone out and I call and I say, hey, Sophie. Why?
You know how we have no money.
It's like, yeah. It's like, no. It's like, I know that you and I, we work for the same company. I know that we're both getting paid way too much for what we do. And I know that they're paying for the house. They're paying my expenses. They're paying for the car. They're paying for... It's like... But we're going to give all that up. And we're going to take the savings. And we're going to open a gym that I don't really know much about. But if it looks like this place is a shithole, I think we can do better than where we're doing the level 1. And I think we can put in some showers. And we can put in some toilets. And I really think that you and I, we can be happy. In particular, if... I'm doing the programming and the coaching, and you're doing all the stuff I don't like. How does that sound? It's like I was doing the worst sales pitch.
And this is why you're not married to her.
No, it gets worse after, right? So I've done the selfish, egotistical, I want to be a coach thing. I want to share this mojo with other people. And she goes, shut the fuck up. We'll talk when you come back. Finish day 2.
She's like, are you drunk right now?
Pass the test tomorrow, right? And we'll talk later. So I'm waiting. Oh, the test. Oh, God, I've got to tell you about that too.
This is probably back when we got the results the day.
You get that day.
Yeah, it was in the envelope, right?
Yep.
So they go, all right, so Carl briefs, right, so when you finish the test, stand up, walk to the back, hand in your Scantron or whatever it was, and then you can fuck off for a coffee and come back in 90 minutes, right? Or whatever it was, 65 minutes, 60 minutes. So I finished the test and I don't know, like 35 minutes or something. I stand up and like, shit. Like everyone's still scribbling away. I was like, I must have missed a page, right? I was like, no, okay. Go to the back. I hand it into. I didn't want to hand it to Steve Haddock because he'd pillaged me all weekend on all groups. I was like, I'm not giving you that. I must have given it to like probably Drake. And I go off for coffee. And when I come back, right, everyone's finished, everyone's out, and there were 3 guys from France there, and so we'd spoken during the thing. And they're all there going, yeah, high five, yeah, and they're holding these certificates, yeah, whoa, yeah, all right, this certificate. And I go up to the table, there's an envelope, and it's got my name on it. It's the last envelope because I'd gone for the coffee. And I come back, and I open it up, and I'm like, wait, it's not the same color as theirs. It's like, that's a bit weird. Did they run out of the same paper? What's going on, right? And I look at mine, it's like, yeah, congratulations on the successful completion. I'm like, I got it, right? So I go up to Carl, like, this is yeah, well done, mate. And he walks off. And I go, what the fuck have they got then? Because they all had these green ones, right? And I go, they used to give a certificate of participation.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say.
And these three head guys.
I didn't realize it.
One of them, who's now my director of training, right? But so David Lunenfeld, hi, sorry, David.
Is that the guy that was over there?
No, that's Midi. Midi's one of the head coaches. We have a guy above who's now director of training. And so I employed David, like, as soon as he got his level 1, he's been with us now for 13 years.
But he had technically failed.
And he technically failed level 1. But they didn't know, so I go up and I go, guys, what's going on? It's like, what, it's like, I passed. What does it say on yours? It's like, thank you for your participation. Yeah.
Thank you for your money.
Yeah. Thanks for 1,000.
We'll see you again.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give us more. Thank you for paying for Greg's private jet.
That's amazing.
You're gonna have to come back again.
Yeah.
And then so I explained, and then, Minon, And one like literally tore it up in a tantrum. I was like, whoa.
So most people don't know this. Back in the day, you would grade on site, and they would write your name in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like right there on the spot.
And then there was a period where you had both.
You had both
per person, and we would just throw one out.
But they stopped doing that because people would throw tantrums, right?
Yeah.
And that was difficult.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't a good experience.
But that experience, when the first time I went to the games, and I'd been harassing Kathy Glassman, and then so she brought me into the
shout out to Kathy.
Kathy.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, you're coming over to France, come into the VIP lounge in the tennis stadium, right? So this is going back to 2012.
Okay.
So I walk in and say, hey, she goes, oh, we have an affiliate in France. It's like, hey, everybody, he's from Paris. And they go, Texas, me too. And I go, no, Paris, France. We go, fuck off, we don't have a box in France. Why don't you call CrossFit France? And they didn't give me the name.
Because Kathy denied my...
She's
in charge of it.
And I said to Kathy, if you want CrossFit to grow internationally, you have to translate the level 1 and the test. And I told her, I said, 3 guys, better coaches than me, they'd studied, they had highlighted I'd read the manual like on the Eurostar or the plane or whatever it was, and these guys, they'd highlighted, they'd studied, they'd done, the study cards and what's going on, and they all failed. And I'm like, I know that I was a dumbass at school. There's no way I'm a better student than these guys. But I passed. And so I've opened a box. They didn't pass, they didn't. So if you want to take the handbrake off international development, you've got to... Yeah, so I just went back. And that's when we got the first gig translated in France. So manual wasn't translated, test wasn't translated, but it was just like anything you would say, I would translate.
Yeah.
But I would actually make it better than what they...
You were that guy.
Yeah.
You were that guy.
You'd say, hey,
I
good
feel like
morning.
I wasn't talking that long.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't talking that long.
Flowmaster says 5 words, you say
They
20.
started laughing. I was like, I definitely didn't tell a joke.
I didn't have a joke in there. Yeah, son of a bitch.
So I was one of those shitty translators that you hate, right?
Yeah.
But then all of a
just asked
sudden,
me like, what did you just say?
the pass rate went from like 19% to 60.
There you go.
And they go, shit. Well, let's try translating the manual, and let's invest. And so the manuals tests level 1s, and then we work for the level 2s, and now we're working on the level 3s. All that came from like my experience of going into London, and then seeing these 3 French guys, literally, and they were caning everything. They were understanding everything that was going on during the weekend. They get the evaluation, and boom, language barrier.
Yeah.
And it's better now, but like we're still, we've got to. It's like we don't have the website translated yet. So we're working on stuff to even so the future of CrossFit internationally, and in particular in countries that aren't English speaking, we haven't
Scratch
seen
the surface.
Scratch the surface.
Yeah.
So the future of CrossFit in the countries. I'm not here to talk about that, but yeah. So we're going off the tangent
because this is partly in how you got here. Right? So
yeah.
Because you're proactive in that nature, you want to support international affiliates. So you opened CrossFit Louvre after your level 1 in 2010.
Yep.
And then talk us to the next one, because most never get to that point where they have a second affiliate.
First one was a shit fight, and it cost me my marriage and my family.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. No, I can. We're on camera, so you might see my face.
Okay, give us this. We work with a lot of clients. I get on married, and I give them advice from running a business with my wife. Give us the biggest lesson you learned. Don't sleep with other women. Is that what you were going to say?
Oh, I didn't. There was a member sending me photos.
Ooh,
and that created tension. Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
And I didn't. No, it was all the hours, we were so engaged, her and I, into the project that we neglected our relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
that's fair.
The most important thing I'd learn was like set time aside for yourselves.
We're literally just talking about that on the last podcast.
Yeah. So, and I know that if we'd done that, and we'd maintained the intimacy, that kind of like it's like for the first 6 months you're opening up and you're closing and you're opening up and you're closing. And you're smiling for the first few, and then afterwards your shoulders around, and then it's like, oh god, another work, oh god, and then you get home and you're getting home a little bit later, and then you gotta and it just takes its toll, By the time you've had a shower, you've eaten, it's like I'm out.
It's bedtime, yeah.
And then you do that, and it's like, and you want to give service, and you want to look after your members, and then you neglect yourself. And so it's like, how can you look after other people if you're not looking after yourself first of all?
Well, I think it's important that you share that, and thank you for doing that, because I think a lot of people could see where you're at right now and be like, oh, he didn't have to go through all of that. And I'm like, everybody goes through that, dude.
No one said opening a gym will be easy.
It's like having a kid, really. It's like you have a 7 and a 4-year-old now or whatnot.
9 and 4.
But you're like,
You got to do those.
I know
hard
you've
yards.
been where I've been. Like,
Yeah.
And if you own an affiliate, you know everyone's been there.
Yeah, and you got to go. You got to do the hard yards, right? But you can do the hard yards smart. And so we were very aggressive. Like, wow, no revenue, all our savings are in there, everything's on the line. Let's go.
She's probably a little bit resentful. Like, we had these other jobs.
Yeah. And we left the house in Bordeaux, so we go from a house with a huge garden, good life, everything paid for by the company. Like, all our salary was just pocket money. We go to that to having no salary. All our savings are pumped into this box. And it's like, we're out on a limb, right? And it's like, and back then, no one knew what CrossFit was, right? So you could put CrossFit all over the place and they go,
You're really early
what does that
adopter.
mean? Yeah.
What was it like? I know you said like you hear Carl or Steve's fitness work capacity, but what was something? What else? There must have been something else where you're like, I'm willing to give up all of this.
It was me. It was. I couldn't sell a lie, which for me the global business was.
Well, once you find what CrossFit is too, it makes it much harder to be like, oh, and you should do chest and tries back, right?
Yeah. Oh, and even it was worse than it was like you had GX, and then you'd do some PT, or you'd have like you'd have guided machines and a huge cardio park. And you're supposed to tell people to sit on an incumbent bike, with a cushion under their ass, put it on resistance 3, and pedal away watching TV. How the fuck are you gonna get fit doing that shit?
Yeah.
You're not. You will sweat a little bit, and you'll have a little bit of achy legs, and you think there's a perception that you're getting fitter. It's
on
not.
the bike, it will tell you how many calories
Yeah,
you burned.
and
That's about it.
so I couldn't continue in that BS. Once you've discovered the truth,
truth,
of holy,
yeah.
it was kind of like discovering religion for.
And that's why we want to sell you on Amway today.
You're plugging another ad. What is it? It's like you've got like a 10-minute window where you watch the movie and then you plug it on. It's like, gee,
So
you guys are
it's the
amazing.
truth.
So you're in.
It's the truth.
I'm on you. I think when you've discovered it, you've really discovered it. You can't go back. You can't. So
you can't unsee it.
No,
Yeah.
You can't unsee it.
you can't unsee the truth. And then I think it's a part of values. Oh well, do you stay affiliated or don't you stay affiliated? I mean, that's part of values, right? It's like
Right.
For as long as I'm coaching
Thank
CrossFit.
you for saying that, by the way.
Really? Have you had a debate on this? What's
A
going on?
lot of people, they just.
I mean, not us, but with the world.
flippantly,
Yeah.
I mean, I was one of the people that came out publicly and be like, I'm not
Very early on.
I'm not doing that.
Well, it's like,
Why?
If you're coaching CrossFit, then you pay your dues and call it CrossFit.
And then people will be like, well, this was here beforehand. And funny, you weren't doing it before CrossFit.
If it hadn't been for Greg and everything that had been done by the CrossFit team,
You would not have this thing.
and that-
dude, you'd be doing fucking body pump and Zumba and Pilates.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Yeah, I have nothing against.
Shout out to Les Mills.
I have nothing against Pilates. No, Les Mills can close shop. Honestly,
But they would not have had a gym at all. They would have never gotten in and opened a gym. The vast majority.
Exactly.
They would have
Without-
never had the opportunity. You would have to join a franchise. You wouldn't have had that capital to come up with. Like you would not. They would have a regular job.
It has affected every single gym in countries
the world.
in the world. You walk into a gym now, they do not look like they looked 10 or 15 years ago.
Correct.
They do not, and that is thanks to what happened in CrossFit.
Correct.
That is thanks to all the level ones that are happening around the world. So pay your dues.
And you call it values, integrity, but
Right.
yeah, if you know if you're doing CrossFit, and if you're not paying an affiliate
Yeah.
fee, your integrity is suspect.
It's like how you do something is how you do everything, right?
Right.
That's it.
That is.
So what led you to the second affiliate?
Hold on before we get there. So before you open this, like what is your rate of growth at Louvre? Like that in that first couple years, right? Because people are like 1,400. I'm like, you didn't just open up and have 1,400.
We open up with 150 in a weekend.
In one weekend.
Yeah, because
okay.
we lost our location. So we signed a location, and the landowner, the
landlord,
had rented from the first floor all the way up to the 7th floor. He'd rented it to LVMH, Louis Vuitton, right? So their group, right? It's become their offices, and we were taking the ground floor on the -1, the basement, right? And so we moved to Paris. We moved from the house to an apartment on a Friday. I called the guy and said, hey, I'm coming by to pick up the keys. I had, the offices, the building offices, arriving in front of the location that we're going to, and I had the parking spaces. I had the demolition team coming in. I had the builders ready. I had Sophie and Nasser were the people that were coming with me from Bordeaux. They coming up, and the landlord goes, well, don't bother. I'm like, what? Well, don't bother. I'm not going to give you the keys. I said, but I signed the lease. Date is Monday. Yeah, but Louis Vuitton have come back and actually they're offering us way more money for the ground floor and the basement. And so I'm like, you can't do that. So, sue me, I don't care. They're paying me so much money, I don't care if I lose.
Yeah, I'll fight the legal battle. You can't afford that.
So it was an industrial landlord, right? They don't give a shit about people and that kind of stuff. They're called Unibuy, by the way. So Unibuy, if you're there, you can go fuck yourself. Right? No hard feelings at all.
I'm fully on board with that.
I hate Unibuy.
No hard feelings at all, right?
Yeah.
But they created a lot of angst. And so I had to go from that phone call, and I united Sophie and Nessa. I can remember, we went down to a bar called Le Marceau, and I said, I need to buy you guys a drink. No, we don't want a drink. You're going to need a drink.
And you're going to need to sit down.
Listen, I know we come all the way from France. I know that, Monday we're meant to be, but we're not. They go, what do you mean? Well, we have no locations. Like, so do we call it quits and say that, nothing's going to happen? Or I have 3 months worth of money to pay your salaries and fees for another location, and we can handle about 3 months. Do you want us to go hell for leather for 3 months? And we develop, we do prospecting, which would be free sessions in the parks.
Okay.
So we go on Facebook, because Instagram wasn't. Do free sessions in the parks. We advertise it, push it out, call all our friends, our contacts, all that kind of stuff. And during that 3 months, I try and find a location. And they said, we didn't come up here for nothing. So Nasser and Sophie, in that meeting, it was decisive.
That's awesome.
They had my back, and they said, let's go for it. Let's do this. And I was like, okay. So it's all or nothing. Right? And if we didn't find a location in 3 months, I would have lost everything. Sophie would have lost everything, and I would have been an Uber driver. Right? Would have been.
You've been a good Uber driver.
I think I would have. I care.
I would have.
I would have found out a shit ton about my, about my passengers. 5-star all the way, right? Give me tips. And so during those 3 months, we started at one session a week, and it's like Tuesday night, 6 p.m. I can remember it like it was yesterday, and we'll meet in the park. And so we started off, and 26 people came. And of those 26, Elie Marjorin, who is the French flowmaster, was one of the first people to come and talk.
Yeah.
Julian Festo, who's around there somewhere, who's the countryman.
I didn't
He's
realize
there. Old Ed Sheeran on steroids there, right? The Ginger Ninja, right? Old Copper Top there. He was one of the first guys. So we did this 26-member workout, and these guys pitch up, and he was running trail run, so he didn't look like he looked like tonight. He had a coward's torso, It's like it's a body where if you get in a fight, the only option you have is to run.
Yeah.
So he had that body. He's now developed like Ed Sheeran on steroids. And Elie Marjorin, he's now the flowmaster. He didn't know what CrossFit was, but he wanted to train.
I didn't realize he started with you.
Yeah.
Cool.
So and in the park, and he was he wasn't one of my first coaches, but it took me like 3 years to convince him to throw in the towel in his job, to come and intern with us, do his university degree, and go.
He's got a
our
podcast now
internships.
too, Shaker Show.
Yeah, the Shaker Show. And salut Elie. And he's amazing. He's absolutely fantastic flowmaster. And so we did that, 26 people in the first one, and then like, okay, cool, invite your friends. And so we know how to prospect, right? So it's like, hey, you need to book with name, surname, email address, telephone number. When they came in, what's your name? Jason, okay, great, name tag. Jason, can you just make sure that these details are right and that kind of stuff? And we knew that we were growing our database, right? And 26 first week, the second week was like 40. And we go, hey, maybe we need to do more than one a week, right? And so we ended up, like, after 6 weeks, and we had 120 people in a park, right? So 120 people for a workout.
But this is all free?
Yeah, this is all free. But we're getting 123 in one session.
These are future clients.
But by the time we'd done, like, the 2 months until we signed the temporary location, we had 600 names and numbers.
Wow.
Right? So you got 600 names and numbers, and so we were giving our time in exchange for prospecting. So when you don't have money for marketing, you got to prospect. You got to get your ass out.
You got time. You got to pay with time.
And you got to get. That's right. So we did that, and so I was like, shit, I need some help. So I was like, I called a couple of coaches that had worked for Fitness First, come in and say, hey, you know CrossFit? And I think, yeah, do you want to come and help me out? I don't know. So David Nouvelle, who's the director of training, he came out and he was one of the guys that had failed his level one. I said, do you want to come and coach some CrossFit stuff? It might help you to pass the test.
a little dig.
And so he came out and he was helping, and then we had Johnny from Venezuela, huge muscly guy. He'd moved to Paris. He wanted to coach, and we had a few guys helping out, and we managed to coach this 126. It was a shit. When I look at the session now, I was like, oh my god, that was really shit.
I bet everybody was having a good time.
Absolutely, and it was better than what was happening at the time, right? Even our shit CrossFit was better than the best of the rest at the time, and now that our CrossFit and our coaching is way better, we're fucking leagues ahead. You can buy all the neon signs and fucking machines you want, we'll still kick your ass. And I've come across a bit aggressive. You can't cut that out. Is this going live?
Live.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Okay,
live.
so you cut out my aggressive.
We're definitely not going to cut that out, though. Yeah.
And
we don't pay Nate enough to edit.
Yeah, he can't. It's by the minute. By the minute. Well, yeah. So when we opened, we had these 600 names. And it's like, hey, you guys have been training with us in parks, like dodging dog shit. And we're getting chased by the police. They're kicking us out of the parks. It was fun and funky. And how'd you like to train indoors? And we had this shit location.
And they were like sold.
We had
There's
like
no dog shit. All right.
Our whole location was like, it was 90 square meters, which is like 900 square feet, with 46 on the down, and there was less up because I think the walls were coming in Paris and these old buildings, right? So we had less space upstairs.
The Eiffel Tower.
So we had like 400 square feet of workout space, but we had to put a shower. So we put one shower, and they would take turns. It'd be like, okay, men, you shower, ladies, you shower, and they'd sit there like hoping to catch a glimpse of people coming out. That was the first box.
Paris.
This is Paris, right?
It's open. It's open.
But of the 600, so we just called everyone, hey, come and visit the location. And it was shit. We didn't have Rogue weren't distributing. There was no one out there. So we did.
What are you outfitting the gym with at this point?
Well,
we're getting equipment.
We got an aluminium bar. That we just welded from the seating, and
like a lot of old affiliates.
Yeah,
just like a few years behind.
Yeah, I just made it work.
And the barbells we had, so Reebok had these containers that had been flown around the country.
Yeah.
And so I pilfered a few bars from the Reebok container. Thank you.
Liberated.
David Silla was the. I can say that he's the one who gave them because he doesn't work for Reebok anymore. But David, thank you for those bars. And
nobody wanted those barbells.
Yeah, and we got some really bad wall balls. You remember those the really heavy ones?
Yes.
You could feel the wood inside.
Yeah,
we had those. We didn't have the nice Dynamax ones, and so we were just making do.
Yeah,
and it fucking worked, and people loved it, and we knew their names. We'd high five. Sophie would offer them a coffee as they came in. She knew everybody's name. She knew the names of their kids. She'd look after the dog downstairs, the pram, that kind of stuff. It was like it's cool, man.
Picture this: you're a gym owner juggling endless tasks to keep your fitness business running smoothly, but despite your efforts, you're losing valuable clients. It's time to turn things around with Wodify, a game-changing customer retention platform that will transform your gym operations and elevate your business to new levels. Imagine waking up every day with your tasks streamlined, saving you time and freeing you up to focus on what actually matters, your clients. With Wodify's new cutting-edge AI retention tool, you'll never skip a beat. It's like having a dedicated alarm system that alerts you when a client is at risk of leaving and allowing you to intervene with a quick save and ensure that they stay happy and motivated. It's time to rewrite your gym success story with Wodify. Don't wait. Visit wodify.com/podcast now and claim 50% off your first 3 months. Elevate your gym, delight your clients, and leave all the other competition behind.
So how much, obviously, like the way you guys currently run it, if somebody's looking at this as a well-oiled machine, like clearly you're a systems guy, but a systems guy with what I would call like customer service is the intent behind your systems. And we'll talk about that in a minute.
Service.
Service in general.
Yeah.
But so you guys are growing. What's the rate of growth? And then like, as you're like, oh, we need to like get this shit organized. Because I'm sure it's not organized at first.
So year one, well, it was organized, but we just needed to scale it.
Right.
So I'm coaching all the classes, etc. And then as you grow, you go from doing like 4 or 5 classes a day, and there's all of a sudden 7, 8. You go, that's too many for me. I need to intern. Hey, David, come on in. Did you get your level 1? High five. Good job, man. I don't need to pay for it then. That's great. Come on in. and it's like watch, assist, and that kind of stuff. Maybe you'll do the brief now. Maybe you do brief and demo. So progressively, you just coach on.
Right.
And then you start to give yourself time to work on the business as opposed to being in the business. And so we went to one coach, me being head coach. 2 coaches, me being head coach. There's sort of 3 coaches. Well, actually, it's taking up a lot of my time. I need to do some other stuff as well. Hey, David, would you like to be? Well, at the time it was Sebastian, and then it became David a few years later. Would you like to be head coach? And I say, yeah, I'd like to be head coach. And then so you develop progressively. So you don't go. We got a team now of 48 people, right? But you don't go from like 1 to 48.
Amongst the 3 affiliates, you have 48.
Yeah. You go from 1 to 2. And then you go from 2 to 3, and you go progressively, and you're gonna recruit them, you're gonna integrate them, you're gonna upskill them, you're gonna share vision, and you're gonna and you go progressively, and you don't hit the bullseye every time with everybody, but if you have processes on attracting good talent, you're clear in your mission, your vision, your values, what you want to achieve, you're clear on the expectations of the role, you'll limit the fuck ups, and then training people is a skill you can acquire. You're not born a trainer,
I think
you're not born a leader, right? Or you can be born, but you can develop it too.
I think the technical skill of training is probably the easiest thing to develop. Like what you're talking, like the people skills, that's the soft skills. Those things take much longer. What you brought up there, I think, is important. So like when we work with gym owners, like, hey, we need to really get clear on like your core values, like your mission, your vision. And people are like, why do we need to do this? And I'm like, because this governs every decision you're going to make.
It's one of the most overlooked things.
It's one of the most overlooked things and most people, even when done okay, it's not like that for me. You need to do that's a very hard exercise, I think, to work through before you get it. And you're like, oh no, this is how I.
But, I mean, you guys have seen the starter kit, right? And I think it's great. I didn't have that much to do with the starter kit, but it is fantastic because it kicks off with go and work on your mission. What is a mission? This is a mission. So if you haven't done the starter kit, I recommend do it because it's including your affiliation. You'd be silly not to, right? But how can you attract people that are aligned with you in your purpose, what you want to achieve, how you want to achieve it, how fast you want to achieve it? How can you attract the right people if you're not expressing it clearly already?
Well, then clearly, but also, a lot of people. Okay, so you go through this exercise, and I'm like, I think one of the more important things you could do with your mission, your vision, your core values is like you need to vet it with somebody else, because if it doesn't withstand even the slightest tension, then you need to go back and you need to do it again, because the purpose of having it, and this is what I don't think most people understand, the purpose of having it is your guiding tenet, it is your roadmap, it is your left and right lateral limits for making decisions. When I'm like, hey, I need to fire Daniel, this should help me make that decision.
Yeah, that's right.
Or if I'm gonna pursue a new program or whatever, and I'm like, you go back to that. It's not just something that fucking reads good on the wall. It's actually how I go through making decisions and building this larger thing. I'm like, that's what it's for.
It's not a soundbite.
It's not a soundbite, but most people write them. I'm like, they're sound bites, and you need somebody to come in and be like, hey, that literally, I know it sounds good, but it fucking doesn't mean anything. Like, it needs to be something like, oh, that actually means something to me. And I think it's important, and it's really cool that you say that, and it's something that Marcus does a fantastic job with us. Is like, when we bring people in, I'm like, you need to be a part of this.
Well, he made us do it first, for best hour.
Well, you do your mission, right? Then you do your vision. Your vision is broader than your mission. Your mission is what you want to achieve, and the vision is, what does everything look like? What do my interactions look like? What is the environment I've created for my team? That's another thing. And then you set your values, and your values are the rules by which you live. So you were saying, right? So like, one of mine is respect. Right? Okay. So respect the members. Members respect the equipment. Members respect the members of staff. We respect each other, right? So is what that guy did respectful of? No, it's not. Then it's wrong. Right. So it helps you, as you said, it helps you make those decisions in your leadership and in your management as well. Yeah, like we'll give examples of like, hey, community. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. Like, does this help you? If somebody wants to, they're like, I want to cancel my my membership, and I'm like, let's talk about that. Like, does you letting this person circumvent the rules on how that process works, is that good for the community? Yeah. Is it bad for the community? I could come up with scenarios in which it would be either one, but the point is like it's guiding off. But also, it's like respect is like, well, okay, decision on opening hours, for example, right? Okay, so Sunday, do we open? Don't we open? And if we do, what hours? Well, actually, yeah, we should. Why? Because most of our members work Monday to Friday, and a lot of them would like an opportunity to train on Sunday. So we're respectful of if we close on a Sunday just because it makes our life easier or it makes my staffing rosters easier, it's the wrong decision. It's not respectful of, right? Do I ask a member of staff to do this and this? Well, that's not respectful because I know he's got a son and he spends his Sunday on. So I'm going to try and do the
and I wouldn't do that. So
that's right. And so your values help you make the tough decisions. And as you said, you write them once. Show them to someone, have a chat, go have a good night's sleep, come back, write them again, show them to someone else, have a chat, go back to the first person, go back to the second person, go take a break, go take a run in the woods, and then you can start.
I review everybody's core values, and the last thing I tell everybody is like, they have to be stress tested. Yeah. You have to stress test the core values. Present yourself with a scenario that you don't want to deal with, and ask yourself, like, do these help me solve for that? And if the answer is no, throw them out
that's right.
and start over. Because if they just make you feel good, that's not useful. They need to be like, hey, this is the backstop when I'm stressed out, because that's coming.
Yeah.
This is the backstop when you're just like have too much going on
Yep.
and you don't know how to sort out whatever you got
There'll
going
be
on.
the guardrails, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, they need to be stress tested to be like, hey, does it help you fire Bob or say no to that client or hold your ground when somebody's like, I need a discount? I'm like, that's what it's for.
And all those things that you guys have just mentioned.
I was like, that's what I'm like looking around. I was like, is
It's
there
yours,
a
dude. It's yours.
phone ringing?
Why is my
weird.
mother
I don't-
why is my mother calling?
That was
I
Sophie.
would've
That was
talked-
your ex-wife.
I
I think.
wouldn't talk about I'm going to be your dad.
That's low, man.
I was like,
that was. Oh, yeah, sorry, that was low.
got
Well
him.
played.
He's too quick. He's too quick.
That was
But
a low
that's really important though, and I didn't want to skip over that, because what you're talking about is like, how do you get that ingrained into the overall culture? Is like, it needs to be personally passed off to every person that comes onto the team.
Yeah, and then it's part of the integration process for new people.
Correct.
So the issue often is you'll grow quickly, or you'll grow, and if you don't have the processes in place, or you don't have the people to manage and guide those processes, you'll start to lose your culture. And that's when you go to multi-site location, all that kind of stuff, if you're not really anchored solidly in your mission, your values, and also go further into like expectations of what each role looks like, and that's for everyone from the intern all the way up to the guy managing a team or the girl managing a team. You will dilute what you want, and then that's like a path towards
The kiss of death.
kiss of death, pain, and growth is important. Sustainable and robust growth is more important.
There you go. That's the key. So talking about scalability, because you've talked about it quite a few times. So you're growing. You're like, okay, we need to scale this. So just to correct me if I'm wrong here, like how many classes a day do you guys run at Louvre 1?
Louvre 1, 32.
32 classes a day. You guys are running, which most people are expecting like 10. You guys run 32 classes a day. This space is less than 5,000 square feet.
Yeah,
you guys are running multiple classes, if not 3 or 4 simultaneously.
That's right.
Correct?
You know that, right? Okay,
Yeah. I did my homework.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so essentially you guys have, and this is where systems, processes come in, but not at the expense of creating a turnstile of clients where like I don't know everybody.
No.
So what you guys have done is what I would completely define as like, you have scaled what most people don't think is scalable, which is like 1,400 members, all of which get a personal interaction.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you can't do that. I can't train more than 10 people at a time." And I'm like,
our
"Then you're not very good
coaches-
at this."
Well, that's it. I mean, if you can't, the people you coach, if you can't learn their names, you can't learn something about them. Our reception teams, if as someone walks through the door, you can't say, "Hey Oliver, how's it going?" There's Ollie Mansbridge, old Chrome Dome over there. He just inspired me.
Don't hate on Ollie. That's my guy.
I only
my God.
jest with those I love, right? So I love Ollie a lot. If you can't connect with people and use their names and stuff, you're in the wrong business.
Right.
And so part of the expectations, for example, for the reception team is you will learn the names and details about every single member that walks through the door. And if you don't know them, go and introduce yourself and then remember their name. That's your job. Your job is remembering names and welcoming people and making them feel special. And then as a coach, your job is knowing their names, knowing their level of ability, being able to read them. Are they screwed up today? Are they in good nick today?
Right.
Will you be able to push them? Will you that kind of stuff? And it's knowing your shit. And so if you can't do that, and if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to learn to do that, don't come and work for me.
Yeah.
How did you begin to, like Fern is saying, like systematizing that? How did you begin to do that with
Is that something?
4-person classes? Yeah.
Well, the 4-person class grew gradually. As you grow more members, you need to give more service, right? It's kind of like, you've got to give service to get the members, and then you've got to have the members to be able to afford to give the service. So it's like this. But as you start, so you got the cycle of success for any business, whether it's in CrossFit, the global fitness industry, selling headbands, insurance. I was talking to a guy who's got funeral parlors, and he goes, "Oh, what you just spoke about applies to that." I'm like, "Yeah, but they're one and done, right?"
Not a lot of repeat customers.
Yeah, not a lot of repeat
Yeah.
customers.
But all of us are going to purchase eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got this cycle of success, which is the first pillar is selling. Right? Everything in your business will begin with a sale. End of story. You may not like selling, but until you've sold a membership, you neither have the means to give service, and you don't have the members to give service to. Right? So everything starts with a sale. Right? So if you get good at selling a membership, And I'd go even further than selling, and I'll explain why in a minute. But so sales is the first pillar. You do that, you get the two things that are going to enable you to give what we call the second part of the cycle, which is the service part, right? Excellence in service. You have the members to serve, and you have the financial means to keep the lights on, or to pay people to do it, or to train people, to upskill people, or to pay a director of training to train your head coaches, who train your coaches, and so on and so forth. So that's a cycle of success. Develop excellence in selling. You have the means to give excellent service. Give excellent service, you get good reputation and word of mouth, and then it feeds
It's
itself.
just a constant refinement process.
But if you don't seek excellence in one of those two pillars, it's not a cycle anymore. It's just a one way. You have, for example, Globo gyms, really good at fucking selling, right? These sales machines, right? But their service is shite house. So these guys are like, they'll sign up 6 million members, and only 10% are actually using the gym, right? They destroy markets or territories or whatever it is because people think they made a bad purchase decision. And then you have like CrossFit boxes, where we've been very good traditionally at talking to coaches, right? You guys, seminar staff, you've spoken to how many thousands or tens of thousands? Really good. Level 1, amazing, brain farts all over the place, made me change my life, and it was the best, most important weekend of my life. Level 2, as a coach, the best weekend of my life. Level 3s, online courses. I was like, there's a shit ton of stuff where we're talking to coaches. That's great. But we've never done anything talking to anybody about sales and prospecting, or overall
putting
operations.
them together.
Yeah, overall operations, right? And the pillars to being successful and all that.
We have put that together.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what we do, Daniel?
Have you heard of Best Hour?
There's like, you guys are like 1 and 2 brain. Is that?
We are like that. We are like that, just significantly better. We're like that, just significantly better.
No,
better.
two brain do good stuff.
Yeah.
And jokes aside, I think finally we're in a space where the future for affiliates, I honestly believe, is better than it ever has been. Why? Because now, people are shooting for the level 3 like they used to shoot for the level 2. Right? And that's what we want. And we want a bigger transition rate from level 1 to level 2s. And we want to be giving people a profession. We want them to see it as a professional, a real job, a real profession. That will give them the time to get to the level 3. It will give them the bandwidth to be able to become excellent. And because finally, guys like you are getting space, right? You guys
like me, not like him.
Guys like guys like you.
See, I'm not feeling seen right now.
Well, no, but guys like you, Chris Cooper's, like, you're getting space. So, for example, you guys are coming up to the affiliate lounge, and you're going to be speaking to the affiliates. That's the first time that stuff's happened. And it's taken time to develop it and to get everyone aligned that this is necessary. That it's not, oh my God, they're taking away from. No. Well, not at all. Very complimentary, right?
Yeah, that scarcity mindset, number one, I think people have to understand it. Like, you can give all the secrets away in the world. It doesn't matter. Number one, if I gave Jay if there were secrets, number one, which there's not.
It's a few.
But let's just say that there were. If I gave them to him, he still has to go do the work. Right? You don't just get to skip over that. Like, people are reading, it's like, oh, I'm going to go do that. I'm like, it's still hard. Yeah. Right? You don't get to skip doing the thing. And then number two, what you're referring to is something that we harp on tremendously, which is like a lot of people have addressed training, and a lot of people have addressed like the business aspect of it, and they only focus on one.
Yeah.
And which I'm like, it's an incomplete equation. Like,
totally.
you're never going to peak out if you don't understand how to make those two things work. And our thing is like, you need to have fucking great coaches, and you need to run your business like an actual business.
Well, and maybe your bag is coaching and that service part, and it's not working on the business. It's working in the business. And then find someone who can fucking work on the business. Or it may be working on the business, not being in the business. Well, then find someone who work in the business. And it may be, hey, doing all the back of house stuff, or the prospecting, the sales, and all that reception stuff, and all the admin, banking, all that kind of stuff. And it may not be. Then find someone who complements your weaknesses. We're not saying you have to be the jack of all trades, right? We're saying understand you need to develop strategies. Prospecting, selling, integrating new members into a pre-existing community, helping people change their habits to integrate CrossFit into their lives, and servicing your members, right? You need strategies on all those. And if you can't develop that strategy, you need to have at least some knowledge so that you can manage the person who's managing it, right?
Well, that's another mistake I think people make. They're like, well, I'm not good at it, so I'm just going to hire somebody else to do it. I'm like, right, but now you're missing all of the information.
And you're not getting better at it.
To integrate the team, it's like
I'd like to own a gym, but I don't want to do the level 1. I'm not going to coach. Like, dude,
Good luck.
You don't do the level 1. You don't deserve to own a gym because you won't understand what you won't have a Scooby-Doo what's going on.
Right. All the best business practices in the world are going to get wasted.
Yeah.
It's not
don't get it.
And how can you give any feedback on what your expectations are if you don't understand what's being taught?
You're not going to.
Exactly.
There's no way to quality check what's happening. You're like, oh, this is, you can't walk out on the floor and be like, this is either shit or it's great.
But that's why I've always agreed with what Greg was saying about as an affiliate owner, level 1. Minimum entry, of course it is. If you don't have that understanding what the methodology is and what you're supposed to be sharing, you can't run it.
You have no business being in there.
No, but I'm an operator.
Congrats.
Go and
operate
sit for 2 days.
Yeah.
Go and sit for 2 days and do some squats. Oh no, I'm not a competitor. There's nothing in competition. Like shit. That argument pisses me off.
So you do that, and then you're like, hey, we're gonna open. What's the time frame between opening 2 and 3?
Louisville 2 was December 2014, so
nearly
like 4 years. 4 years afterwards.
Yeah, it was 3.5-ish.
Okay.
3.5-ish.
And is that one only 400 meters away?
No, that's the one in Bordeaux. So the reason we did Bordeaux is it's 600 kilometers away. So we did it easy.
It's far.
We did it easy. It's like, let's open a second one. Yeah, like in another friggin'
Which
part
is
of the world.
state,
actually
basically.
hard.
Yeah.
Because now you're not there.
Well, if I hadn't had confidence that we could have handled it with the staffing we had, I wouldn't have done it. But we can talk about, when you're opening a location, what are the factors you need to unite in order to hope to have success, right? But the reason I did it was because the people that came up from Bordeaux to Paris with me were from Bordeaux. And I promised that if the first box is successful, then
give you the opportunity
box number 2 we will open in Bordeaux. And if you want to, you can come back to Bordeaux. And if you want to, you can work and run in that box. So to keep my promise, that was it. And by that time, unfortunately, with Sophie, we'd split. She'd already moved back to Bordeaux. Okay. And so she was doing the admin because I felt it was unfair. She'd been fundamental. She's like a founder with me. I didn't consider myself more of a founder than she is. I wouldn't say is because we still work together, right? And so it was like, hey, you're down there with our son, and I wanted him to be in a healthy environment.
Right.
I wanted him to have the best box possible to train in and grow up in. And I knew that.
CrossFit?
Shit, yeah. Oh. He was training this morning when you were snoring, man. He was doing bar muscle ups. He was doing bar muscle ups and handstand walks. Yeah. I'll show you the videos of it. Yeah, he's around. It's actually his birthday today. So Sami, bon anniversaire. We had a friend who he goes to me last night. It's like because he knew I was a bit busy this afternoon. He goes, what American car do you like that you can't get in France? And he goes, Mustang. That's cool. The guy goes online, comes back, and goes, hey man, do the morning with your dad, go paddleboarding and stuff. In the afternoon, I'm going to pick you up and we're going to drive around town in a Mustang. And he'd rented a Mustang, so they're driving around, driving around Madison in a Mustang. My son, he's turned 14. He says, yeah, but I choose the music. And it's like, so they're like pumping around.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So they went down to Bordeaux, and so I would have chosen a different location, obviously, if I hadn't had that promise. I would have chosen Paris. Why? Because it's easy to operate if you're within distance. Louisville 3 is a 12-minute walk from Louisville 1.
Wow.
Oh my God, cannibalization, bullshit. Extra service. And you can choose to book a class here or
Paris,
but also the population to support.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
That's and we were kind of like on wait list in Louisville 1. And so
you're looking at data
it's
saying
an expansion of one.
Yeah, we can definitely support this.
Well, there's the data, but you need location. So the 3 things you need to open a box, right? Okay, you need to find a location. It takes patience. Go visit 50 locations, you'll find one that's like and then the negotiations work out. That's fine. It's just patience and perseverance. And it's like, oh no, I can't find a location. Really, how many you visited? 3. You haven't fucking tried. It's like, that's it. So it's like going to a nightclub and saying, I can't get laid. Really, how many people are you spoken to? I've spoken to 3. Oh shit, man. If I stopped at 3, I'd still be a virgin. It's like with these radio looks, it's like you gotta go further than that, right? It's like, so it's like. I'm tired. So
I like it.
So apologies, guys.
It's on brand.
It's on brand. It's on brand.
And so, I can't remember what we're talking about. I was thinking about
3 things.
I was getting past projections going
location,
in my head.
No, your virginity, and then one day thing.
So location number 1, money number 2. Right, it's going to take investment, but you can work that out, and you either save money or you can find money. Money can be found if you have the right project, you have the right people, you will find people that are confident enough to invest in you.
100%.
So whether they're angel investors, with your family, friends, whether they're members of gym number 1, whatever it is, right? You can find money. Banks as well. If you've got a good track record, then they'll start to look at.
On that note, we won't talk about we had a friend who was just like, I went to go raise some money. He came back 2 weeks later. He's like, I raised $500,000.
That's it.
Done. I'm like, money is available.
Yeah.
People need to trust you, and you need to have a track record of working hard and being like
right.
a good.
And a way to show that you're going to earn it back.
Right.
Yeah.
And a plan.
And yeah, have a mission, have a plan, have some sort of P&L. Don't go, yeah, I love coaching, man. You know, do you want to lend me $200,000? Like, yeah, okay, dude.
No, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. And then the third thing is you need to have the people to run it.
Right.
Because often people, when they're going multi-site, will think, hey, man, we're super successful. How about let's look at that gym and pumping. Let's go open site number 2. Let's do it. Let's go. And it's like, I'll run it, and so we're running the gym.
Team.
We're running. I'll go over there. You stay here. And go over there. And it's like, and then that goes a bit wobbly. And this is like shit house. And shit. I'll come back here. And then it's like, no. If you know you need 2 good people to run that gym, you're gonna need 2 good people to run this gym. So when we opened Louisville 3, it was really because we'd had at reception for over 2 years a young lady called Sausan Sadiq. She's still with us. She's head of reception in Louisville 3. And she'd been at reception for a while, and she was really good. But our head of reception, you know, he's going to die in the role. He doesn't want to go anywhere. So you know, if you treat them right and give them a career, they'll be sorted. So he wants to stay, but she's good. I don't want to fire him to give her an opportunity. And then head coach, David was there, and Jean-Marie was there. Jean-Marie still coaches with us. He's no longer head coach because he wanted to go back and study. But David's there, Jean-Marie's there. It's like, shit, we've got a head of reception and head coach. We have the staffing to go and open 2 gyms in Paris. Now let's look. So it was actually by having the right people and saying, shit, I can confidently hand a Ferrari to these 2 guys. I'm not going to fucking drive it into a wall.
Yeah.
Right? And then I started looking for locations. That's fine.
Oh, so you went team first.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. You don't want to be under the gun. Like, okay, I'm signed the lease. Oh, my God, the rent's falling. Shit,
Right.
I got to find a really good head coach. You don't find a good head coach.
No,
you make them.
You make one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying I think too many gym owners abdicate that responsibility. They're like, I can't find good coaches. I'm like, you're not going to find them. You make them.
Yeah, find good people.
Right, you find good people.
That are aligned to your mission, that are aligned to your values.
Correct.
And that.
Well, that's
Going
why
back-
I was like,
going
you
all the way
have
back to
someone in your box who would be a great coach.
Dude, you look
just gotta
like
ask.
you look like you've been punched in the face. Your eyes are twinkling. It's like, you look you're out. You're jet lagged.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah,
right
dude.
now?
Yeah,
If you-
look like
Oh
you're
no,
jet
that's just the edible
That's just-
kicking
yeah,
in.
But Red Bull?
Edible.
Oh, edible. Edible.
If you build that culture,
I thought we'd be done by now, dude.
it's a long day.
You were late. I mistimed it.
We were supposed to be done an hour ago.
I was like, what's that? Melatonin.
And unrelated, does anybody have any Doritos around?
If you build that culture, you will essentially people will come in who will want to be a part of that, and then you just give them the skill set. I think a lot of people want somebody to come, show up, ready to go, and I'm like, that's not how it works.
And
man.
that, coming back to our original point, it's like, I don't want to learn that because that's not going to be my bag. Well, go and learn it because then you can recruit good people and you can teach them the skill set.
Well,
and stop doing it.
Well,
We talked about it. It's the first thing you can hire.
Right, but if you think about it, it's just like, why would anybody go to any organization? They're going to go there for selfish reasons because they're like, I'm going to get something out of that.
That's right.
Meaning I show up because like either Daniel's got something to teach me, like whatever. Like
I need to fill my fridge, or I need to feel safe.
Right.
I need a contract to buy a flat. I need a sense of belonging.
Right.
I need to become a good coach. I want to be recognized as the best coach, and then I want to go and run a team or Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Right. So
Goal setting.
if you don't understand that, or you can't deliver on some of those things, of course you have a shortage of people at the door to show up to actually try to be a part of that. You know, like.
Yeah.
That's what you should be trying to build. You should be trying to build something where like people want to come into your organization and be a part of that.
Yeah. I mean, too many people treat coaches like, okay, this guy just needs to fill his fridge. So hey, it's transactional. I'll pay you X bucks to coach. End of story, and that's it. Go get him.
They're not gonna stick around.
But if you're already filling your, once you've fulfilled that initial level, safety. Am I safe with this guy? Is he running a business that's going to be enabled to pay me? Am I getting a good contract, etc.? Will I have a roof over my head thanks to this guy? Okay. Sense of belonging. Am I proud to say that I work at 2 Brain,
Best hour. Damn it.
best hour of the brain, best hour of the best brain of the die, best brain of the. No, am I proud? You know.
Yeah.
So a sense of belonging. You know. How do you know when there's sense of belonging? You know, the guy will wear a T-shirt to a wedding. You know, it's like CrossFit Louisville.
Or he's proud to be like, hey, where do you coach? I'm like, I coach at CrossFit Rife or Best Hour.
Hey,
or
you know,
CrossFit Louisville.
That's how
or
CrossFit's
it's like
at.
it's like head coach. Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm head coach at CrossFit Louisville. You know that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm becoming good. I'm getting educated. I'm able to take on projects I wasn't. if you can't fulfill those higher levels as a leader, what you'll do is you'll attract people that are just transactional, that really don't give a shit, right? And they're not the best, honestly.
No, they're not great at all, actually. Yeah.
They don't want to get better.
To be fantastic at something, you've got to tick off the first levels of Maslow's, right? Because at the first levels, you're looking at yourself. You're looking after yourself. You're not good at anything while you're worried about, am I going to be able to piss, pee, sleep?
Those are the same thing.
Eat, piss, pee. Okay. Eat, pee, piss, poo.
Eat your pee.
You know what I mean? Piss, poo, eat, sleep, make love, be pain-free, all the.
I feel like this is not Maslow's anymore, but this is more like Chaffey's.
This is entry level physiological needs, right?
Right.
So if you're just treating you guys like they're down there, if they want to climb, they'll go somewhere else. They'll go and work for someone who will bring them the rest. So if you want to attract the best, you need to bring the rest. If you want, once you've got the best in, you want them to stay with you long enough so you can develop them to be good, you've got to bring the rest of that Maslow's part. If you as a leader, you've never studied organizational behavior, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, personal goal setting, leadership, you're selling yourself short. You will lose good people way too soon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Way too soon.
Absolutely. You talk about all these things, but you left a company and we're like, I don't need these things
Why?
anymore.
Because
Well, he was missing the upper levels
I
of
was
that.
missing
Yeah.
the sense of fulfillment. What was going to fulfill me? And it was sharing CrossFit. It wasn't selling a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved, my bosses were amazing people. I was safe. They were training me. I was learning a ton. But I was higher up in Maslow's, right? And I was starting to get bored. I needed something that was going to really challenge me and that kind of stuff. So that's again part of Maslow's. If my bosses had understood that and had analyzed where I was, perhaps they would have been able to keep me for.
And I think a lot of bosses in the corporate world, they mask that top with more money. We'll pay you more. And then it's like, for a lot of people, it's like, I'm trapped now. Right? And
you're a golden prison, right?
Yeah.
Or you attract the wrong people who only want that, who are not worried about like fulfillment, service, all those.
But
other
I believe
things.
there's a breaking point, right?
For sure.
You can get all the money you want, but if your leader is a level 1 leader, if your leader is not a good leader, level 1 is they've been given the title.
The base.
Right, title,
man.
yeah.
It's no different than CrossFit. Like
It's the base, right?
Yeah.
And level 1 just creates churn. It's transactional. I'm the boss, so you're going to do this, right? It's like, well, no. Level 2 is the relationships, Not only is he the boss, but he's a good guy. So I like him and I'll do what Level 2 is good. Level 3 is even better. He's the boss. He's a good guy. And he knows what he's talking about. He's getting results for the company, whatever, or he's had results in the past. I'm going to listen even more. And then level 4 is, he's the boss. He's a good guy. He's been getting results. And shit, he's developing me. That's level 4 leadership. You develop people, and then you gain traction. You make a decision, there's less inertia. You have less rotation.
Everybody's like, got it, let's go.
You have to study leadership if you want to develop a larger team and you want to keep them. You have to. And leadership is not, you can be born with it, but it's something you can learn.
I think you need a little of both.
I think you're born with certain aspects of leadership, meaning like you are
bossy.
Right.
They got kids. We're playing soccer today,
But even that, if you were to talk to any sort of, like people that are really nerd out on just social interactions, they're going to be like, no,
I can't swear anymore.
No, you can't.
Maniolo's walking past.
It got quiet all of a sudden.
Wait.
Yeah,
I thought something was wrong.
Chest out, belly in.
Around here?
Chest out, belly in.
Chest
out. Squeeze the glutes. I'm standing straight. Austin, I'm standing straight, man.
He said very good things.
He goes to me, don't slouch. Like, get that belly in. Look, it doesn't even have to say, just one look. Poof.
Where'd you go? He turned sideways?
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, I'm in Schwartzy mode.
So, but it's like one of those things where that what you're talking about is what a lot of people fail to understand. Like, why do I have a turnstile of coaches? And I was like, well, you're not filling that need. Like, there's nothing past like, hey, we're doing a transaction for this hour. You pay me for this hour and I'm gone, and there's nothing past that. And it's like
no sense of belonging, no care and concern.
Which goes back to you're not clear on your mission. You're not developing your skill sets because they have to want to come in because like, oh, I'm going to get something out of this, right? And that's hard because all of that falls back on you. But if you go back to, I'm going to steal some of your own words, is like you do it one skill at a time, one member at a time, one teammate at a time, all of that.
One workout at a time.
One workout at a time. And you just do it one piece at a time.
With a huge amount of discipline.
Well, that's the issue. That's the consistency piece.
Every
like
class,
show
every day,
up.
every trial session, every conversation, every...
Yeah, and people are like, how long am I have to do this? I'm like, until you're good enough.
Until you die.
Right, until you're good at it.
When you know what works and what's right, you just keep doing it,
Yeah.
And if you get bored doing it, well then teach someone else to do it so you can take a step back and that person's not bored doing it. And
yeah, that's really cool.
I think fundamentally, and this is what I like about the conversation with you guys. I must admit, I was apprehensive coming on this. I was going.
We were actually apprehensive to have you.
Well, I was like,
I'm not sure what he's going to say.
I was like, oh my God, it's like I'm going on too. Fuck me. And I was like, this is like immense podcast. Got huge following in the USA.
They're not going to watch this one. They don't know you.
Like, who's this dude speaking funny? Oh my God, he's speaking.
We can't even understand what he's saying.
He's speaking real English.
Why didn't they translate this?
All right,
Why
Steve
didn't they
Haydock.
translate
That's
this?
how Steve Haydock. He's like, hey, if you guys don't understand this, because this is what real English sounds like, and people are like,
Lord Haydock. Lord.
Lord.
Jolly good.
I think he's American. Is he American yet?
Yeah, he's going,
getting there.
right, gang, chairs for time. That's Steve. So what was it? Yeah, is that we're talking about people more than anything else,
right?
And when you think about it fundamentally, any business is done by people for people, but nothing in the world is like CrossFit, where it's done by people for people and to develop better people. Tell me what is. It's like maybe teaching with a really good teacher has an impact like a CrossFit box can. Maybe a really good MD. I said, and that's a big maybe.
Yeah. Big maybe.
Because all those MDs out there, you guys know a lot about sickness. That's what I'm saying. And you earn more money than most affiliate owners, which is wrong because most affiliate owners know more about health. We're not going to go down that road, right? But
I mean, we can.
But developing people,
You're not wrong.
Developing people, helping people, nothing does it like CrossFit.
Yeah, no, it's
everything we do is about people. So if you're not good with people,
Well, and to tie it back to what you've created, a lot of affiliate owners, whether it's rates or how many people they can handle at once, and what they're basically doing is capping their potential impact. And you've shown one man with a solid team can impact 3,000.
But it's like, so like I know, for example, that there's one workout space where we want to go on certain workouts, not all workouts, but we look at the programming to cap our workouts, right? Because our square meters are limited. So you're doing something with a toaster bar, a rower, and a barbell. Well, you have a few members per workout, right? But you're doing just a body weight, put-ups, sit-ups, and air squats.
Get them in there.
Shit, man, you get them in, right? As long as they got a pull-up bar, and you may even do teams of two. You know what I mean? So you get smart with the programming. But so when you pump the numbers, okay, well, I'll pump the numbers, but I need to be able to put the resources there to give good service. So I'll have a coach on, and I'll have an assistant coach. That's it. And if you don't pump the numbers, have a coach, but a really good coach. And so you can do that.
Well, there's a process for that, right? And this is where we're like, I can't do this because we don't have enough. Well, there's a couple steps that you missed there, which you brought up, which is like you need to understand programming. You need to understand logistics because I might not have the capital to pay an extra coach. I'm like, okay. Well, there are numerous other ways to solve that, which is like, how do I turn 24 people into 12? Pairs.
Yeah,
right? How do I coach really well at the snatch? I'm like, don't pair it with another complex movement.
That's right.
Yeah. Make it an alternating EMOM. All these things that, if you think about it, well, how would I make my life easier to continue to provide world-class coaching and service? And I'm like, well, then you need to think about like what is happening on the floor, and you need to tailor it to you so that you can deliver the best way possible.
Because and you're like, oh no, but that's not CrossFit. Yeah, but if you don't do it, you won't be here in 2 years.
Right. It may not
but it is CrossFit.
It certainly still is.
But that's like, oh yeah, but if you start tweaking the programming because your limitations on stuff.
Oh, you're just moving the salt shaker. But you're not, because it's still centered. You're just accommodating
and you're still
square footage and people.
What you're doing is
functional movement.
And you're preventing people to go elsewhere, do nothing.
But ultimately, you're not ignoring the reality on the ground. Like you listen, if you want to die on that sword, that's fine. But I don't know that you're helping any more people by doing that.
You're helping significantly less if you can have 6 people versus 24.
And I would love for every gym to be 10,000 square feet. Rectangle,
high
real. Ceilings,
it's not real.
And with a rent of $1,500 a month. But my rents,
That's a lot.
Rent, Louisville 1 is 42,000 euros, which is close to $50,000 a month. That's the rent.
That's most U.S. affiliates' annual rent.
So you know straight off the bat that if you want to bring CrossFit to that part of Paris,
I have to have a lot of people.
You're going to have a lot of people, and you have to be able to be good enough to charge them enough. So that's it. And if you don't do that, you're gonna hit the wall. So
I think what we're kind of addressing here is like that's scary because what you've just outlined is like, oh shit, I have to do this really well.
Yeah.
Like I can't just like casually do this. Like I have to. Well, you gotta fucking do it.
And you gotta have the confidence to do it really well.
Right.
How do you gain the confidence? You
Reps.
go and learn your shit.
Reps.
You go and learn your shit, and then you iteration, and be turned towards other people. Keep coaching people. And I'm going to say people, not members. Right? We know that. But be coaching your team. Your team should be getting feedback not once a week or once a month. They should get it every fucking day. They should get 1 minute praise and reprimand and redirect. Hey, dude, I really like the way you put your headset on that. You're looking really good on the profile. Keep going that way. It's really good, you know. It's like, hey, man, listen.
I know, turn.
Listen, you look really good with that. But, you know, you like hold the belly in, right? Because you look better. So, okay, well done, mate. You know, and then it's better for that, and then we'll get more viewers, and we can sell more advertising spots for Two Brain Business.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, so
I'm in. I'm buying it.
But as a leader, you should be having those conversations all the time. All the time. Yeah.
Really cool.
What's next for Chaffey?
Secret.
Honestly, I don't know. So at the moment, we've got Louvre 1, 2, 3. We've got the French Throwdown, which is here's my plug-in, is a really good competition.
Is it a semi now?
It used to be, but we were too good to be semi. I'm kidding.
Standalone.
No. Back in the day, Dave booted us out. He goes, no, you work for HQ, so we're going to take the semi away from you because otherwise optics, it looks as though we're giving favoritism. I said, yeah, but our event's the best, hands down. That's it, you know. And if you don't be apologetic about being good, right? And so we lost it. But it doesn't matter. It's okay. I hold no grudges to you, Dave Castro. The John Wick of CrossFit. Unkillable. You know, he comes back from the dead. It's like he's been fired more times.
And he's back.
And he's back. And not only is he back, but those that thought they'd killed him get killed by him. I mean, that's like, isn't that?
That's
true.
not untrue.
And you are obviously going to edit all of that.
Nope, it's going in there.
Play it again, right?
No, listen.
Back.
If you don't have a sense of humor, man, life is short, isn't it? So then we have a training company called Operating with Excellence.
Yep.
And I'd love to do more stuff with you guys.
We're on
We'll
board.
consider it.
I think I don't sell mentoring, and I don't sell like online university and stuff. We don't do that. We just do 2 days of training. You come and learn some stuff, take processes, scripts, and it's what you're saying. We share everything, open book. And
Did you steal that idea from Ben Bergeron?
Ben Bergevin? Nope, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't steal anything from him, except for the name and telephone number of his dentist.
Fair enough.
That's about it. How about that for?
I like it.
Took a weird turn,
right,
but yeah.
Right back on himself.
No, I don't know Ben.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know Ben very well. But I believe I'm presenting with him in Berlin in December. So
that's cool.
Ben, if you do watch this, I doubt it because you're not part of the 47 watching. But if you do watch this, I'll see you in Berlin, and I really do like your teeth. Please bring me your business card. So I don't know what's next. Still doing the international thing with some wonderful people. People. And there's one right there, Natalia Diaz, who's
there she is.
Spain. CrossFit is full of good people. So I don't know what the future holds for me. That's up to Donfall. That's up to Annette in terms of CrossFit. What I do know is that I won't stop working with affiliates. And I won't stop loving these guys. Country managers and the reps in the US they're affiliate owners.
Yeah.
But, first and foremost, they care. They give a shit. They fight the good fight. They support affiliates, but they also they help guide the future of CrossFit with HQ. They're the conduits for giving feedback to I just like people, man.
It shows.
And I like success.
Yeah. Well, listen.
You got 50% of it down. You'll work on the friends.
We're not sure which one to do. It's a crapshoot. You got at least one.
Was that the belly thing, or was that the low?
It was just everything. It was the last hour and a half.
Well, listen.
It was a roller coaster.
We're gonna be here for breakfast. We'll be here for Becky.
I'm super glad we got the chance to do this. Like, you're doing it right.
Well, yeah, because you guys invited me on last year, and then you stood me up. I stood in there like 5 times.
We don't know what you're talking about.
I was as you're doing
no
podcast,
recollection.
I was behind sweeping the floors going like this. I was like walking behind the camera going.
We didn't know who he was.
We were judging last year, and then this year we've got time.
I think we did 2 podcasts last year, but
but
no, I do.
Yeah, that's right. They booted you guys off the judging team. I think good call. Well done.
We moved on.
Is that because of the change?
They needed to
leadership
upgrade.
there?
They needed to upgrade.
It's gone to.
Chuck was like, "Listen, I need people that can see." No, but no. In all seriousness,
I think he was talking about his glaucoma.
It's fixed. I got it fixed. My right eye's good now. No, but in all seriousness, you're doing it right.
You can't stop.
We can't end the show ever. We can't end the show.
As you're
What the fuck
carrying the
is
reps,
happening?
you're like, and do you know we do?
Oh yeah, I made 3 sales on the floor.
Do you own a gym? Are you successful? Or
Yeah,
you
I heard you have an affiliate. You're not going to
Oh,
finish.
sorry, that was 15, no, 12. Who gives a fuck? Do you,
Based on what I'm seeing right now, you're definitely not going to finish first in the competition. So let's talk about your box.
Let's get back to the business.
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I think just a great role model for affiliate owners. Like, you're doing it right. You're doing it really, really well, doing it at a very high level. And that was a large part. Again, I wanted to bring you on here because obviously we want to talk about what you're doing, not to kind of like, pat you on the back, but like to show people like it can be done. Like, it's a thing, and you're doing it from the right angle, through the right lens. It's people first, service first, and you get those things really right. You throw systems on top of it, and you can have massive success. So
keep the passion, and the best way to keep the passion is to give a solid base with processes.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. Thank you guys very much for the invitation. I realize it's a long day, and he's fallen asleep twice.
He
sleeps
we have no
standing.
idea. He doesn't even know where he's at right now. So
I saw. You see when he fell asleep and he yanked a nose hair to try and wake himself up.
It worked. I'm back.
he's awake. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks,
We'll
guys.
see
Keep
you
doing what
guys
you're doing,
next
mate.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.